For someone who doesn't seem to be worried about AI-generated art, I seem to be going about it a lot, don't I? Anyway, here's the latest. What's it got that we haven't? It's got speed, convenience, and despite the claims of its adherents and inventors, it has predictably reliable outcomes, which is what business likes. Humans don't, artists don't, musicians don't, which is why they come up with weird shit every now and then. And if you mixed in the circles of these nutcases that work creatively, you'd invariably find out that they come up with more weird shit than they come up with straight shit. Then they filter it out because, well, they've got to put bread on the table. But that is what they do a lot of the time. So what advantages does artificial intelligence generated creativity have? Basically, advantages of time and money. It's cheaper to employ a machine than it is to employ a person or a band or a director and an actor and a script writer and a sound engineer and all the rest of it. Yep, it's cheaper just to get it generated. But you'll spot it. People are already spotting it a mile off, and people are turning off from it because it just seems empty. There's some moderate entertainment value in a disposable fashion. I saw some funny clips of some alternate universe Star Trek videos where basically they'd plonk the existing Star Trek characters into strange earthbound situations that had nothing to do with Star Trek, and one or two were funny. There were some more there and I couldn't be bothered. And as anyone knows me knows, I'm a Trekkie and I like funny stuff, but it was all right, but it was disposable. What can humans do that aren't? Well, another problem with these machines that create AI art in all its forms is that you've got the software gurus, the code geeks that sit behind it saying, oh, we've done this, and it's very near perfect, and soon it will be perfect, which is absolutely insane. Because what they're forgetting is that at its core, when you look at how it arrived, how it was conceived, who invented it, who made it, who whittled its edges to take off the clunkiness and give it some polish to make it presentable to the planet as what it is now. Humans. So they're inventing something that they think will be more efficient and better than humans. But the problem is it was humans that conceived the thing in the first place. And I would suggest that could be its fundamental weakness. It's a tool, it's a useful tool perhaps for some people, but it will never be perfect. You look at the emotional response you can have to art. People have cried to a piece of writing in a book. You know, the story takes an avenue, and even though the reader had to turn the page, it still surprised them, and they were already connected to those characters they were reading about for perhaps only a few hundred pages before. They're so invested in those characters. They're upset when a character dies. That's some power. I've seen people cry in front of paintings. That's what we do. I mean, the art form that means the most to me in that sense of connection and emotion is music. Fauré's Requiem Mass. And I always feel a little for Gabriel Fauré. I think he was in his late 20s when he wrote that. Where'd you go from there? And most people would say he never matched that. There have been other artists, old and modern, where people have said that it's a shame they did their best work when they were so young. Perhaps that's the time when we're most open to taking in the world and thumping out a response. Well, that's something that AI art can't take account of, because it doesn't deal with responses to the human condition on a personal, individual level. As I said before, it feeds on inspirations and work of others that were fed into it. On top of that, that work that was fed into it, those artists, those writers, those musicians, that work is also subject to the moral and cultural aesthetic codes of the countries, the people that they come from. There are some cultures that are accused of being mawkishly sentimental, others that are accused of being regimented, disciplined. Well, the percentages of those outlooks on humanity and life will have been taken in on board by the machines scraping human culture. And if your culture is, in terms of volume and number, secondary to a culture of a more dominant predilection, it will affect the output that you will notice. So it won't be human. It'll be an approximation of some sort of human, possibly the greater number of humans from one culture. Right, so it operates on a basis of grand acquisition, bundling up, chomping down, and mashing up the great grand average of what it thinks we want to hear on the basis of what it thinks we have made. And, as I said in a previous video, it will get to the point where it's feeding on its own results. So then it becomes this bland, homogeneous, uninspired, disposable product. Yes, the old arguments of authenticity are back. Possibly more urgent and more arguable than before. That's what we can do that it can't. We fuck up. We make mistakes. And when we do it, we can utilize them. They send us down new directions where AI can't, because it always has to second guess what would a human do. To make something more human, to make something convincingly human, what would a human do? Well, we don't do that. We just do it, don't we? That's how we get through this world. So I don't know how we can judge what is real when we're presented with it and what isn't. I think in most circumstances it becomes apparent. If it's not, don't choose it until you know there's a human behind it, if you want that authentic aspect to any cultural production you buy. It's not difficult to find out nowadays information about anything that's made available to the public. There's such a vast arena to play in and choose from that invariably all the players are producing all the supporting promotional materials and making them available. Hellfire. What's this? Man walking around with a phone on a stick. It was not me just punting what I think to the world to increase my sense of visibility. Don't know, is that what it's for? People have asked for it. I haven't found it hard to say no to making it, have I? So there you are. Corporate marketing floozy. So there you are. I am not an algorithmically, artificially generated intelligence. I am an authentic publicity whore, the real deal. It is pretty much the nature of arts world people anyway, isn't it? Despite their protestations, we're all desperate for attention. That's why we do what we do. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. And remember, take care, look after those near you, look after everyone. Ta-ta.